Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananamalaya Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Atmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Sri Medha Dakshina Murti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Bhavato Sahano Bhunakto Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Krishna Karine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Sarva Lokahite Ratam Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande Shamadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranetranana Pada Baho Sahasranamnam Stavanam Prashastam Niruchyate Janma Jaradi Shantyai. Namaste once again, all of you.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. So we are
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. We are seeing the meanings of the namas in the sloka. Sarva Sharva Shivasthanur Bhudadhir Nidhiravyayah Sambhavo Bhavano Bharta Prabhavav Prabhurishwarah. This is the sloka we are seeing. And if I am not wrong, in the last class when we finished, we had seen the meaning of the nama Sambhavaha. Am I right? Sambhavaha. What?
Yes, Guruji.
All of you, yes or no?
Yes, Guruji. Yes, yes.
So, Sambhavaha, basically, he takes avatara. Uchita Rupa, Uchita Kala, Uchita Desha. He assumes or manifests in the form which is appropriate for that particular circumstance. We saw the example of Narasimha Avatara. So now the next nama is Bhavanaha. Bhavanaha means the giver of the fruits of action. Karma phala data. Right? So that is what Adi Shankara says. Sarvesham bhoktrinam phalani bhavayati iti bhavanaha. That's how he says. Okay. He is the one who gives the right results according to their karmas to all the jivas. Okay. And when you receive the result of the karma, you become what? Experiencer of that result. If it is a good karma, if it is happy result, then you are an enjoyer of the result. If it is not a good karma, it is not a unhappy result, then you are the sufferer of the result. Both the things in a very fair manner, based upon your karma, past karmas, based upon the law of karma applicable, and law of karma has been designed and given to the world, to the humanity by Lord himself. So he knows exactly, he is the one who has actually authored the law of karma, and which is a part of the Ishvara's order, rather, the cosmic order. So he knows for what karma, what result should be given. So he gives that. result, appropriate result for the karma. So when we become the enjoyers, we become the bhoktas, right? The bhoktrinam, he says. Okay. Because we may do so many things, but the results of the action may not be aligned to our expectations. Because many unseen factors, adrishta, what we say, devam, we say, they are always acting whenever we do a karma. They are also there present whenever we do a karma. So we may do a karma expecting a certain result, but these unknown powers which are acting at that time may actually give you a totally different result than what you expect. Okay. So we may chant a very simple prayer, but what we may get out of it may be totally different than what we expect. Okay. How prayers bring about karma, this karma phala is not very clear for many of us, because I think in I don't know which class, here only I think I spoke about the prayers, I don't remember. Oh no, I spoke in Tattva class. But the prayers work subject to certain caveats are there, how the prayers work. If the karma is not a very strong karma, prayers will work. If it is sort of a medium type of karma, that is in terms of I would say negative results, then the prayers, normally we pray only when somebody is suffering or we are suffering, and all, isn't it? We pray to give us good results also, but that good results will depend upon not merely the prayers, but our good actions also, isn't it? So suppose we have done a bad action, knowingly, unknowingly, which we don't remember, and that has got a very negative result of that karma. And we do prayers, prayaschittam and all that we do for diluting the effect of that negative karma. So that will depend upon not the strength of the prayers, but the strength of the karma. So with prayers, some of the karmas can be diluted. Some of the karmas, the effect, the negative effect of the karmas can be made bearable with prayers. But with some karmas, which are what we call, prabhala prarabdha, prayers will only, they will not help at all. If that prarabdha karma will take over, it will run its course. But then prayer has got so many other benefits rather. So, which of course I don't want to go into that right now here. It has got other benefits, including when you are praying for somebody, it is a nishkama karma you are doing. So that itself will give you a punya. That will give you chitta shuddhi also. When you are doing selflessly, praying for somebody's health, somebody's well-being and all that. And that is why we should always pray a very common prayer, Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Let everybody be happy. Sarve Santu Niramaya, let everybody be without any disease, without any afflictions. So if we keep on chanting it, that is a universal prayer we can keep on praying. And the more we chant for others without expecting for ourselves, even though in survey we will also be included, right? But our thought in that prayer is not that do it for me, it is do it for everybody. So while doing such prayers itself, it increases your purity of your mind, chitta shuddhi, and then it will lead you in the spiritual path. So prayer has got its own role to play, which we can understand from many different circumstances and all that. I have explained it in Tattva class in a detailed manner. So prayers is there, they work. So there should be some connection between the action and result, because that is how the entire cosmos works, isn't it? Any action Even Newton's law of motion says the same thing. Any action has got an equivalent and opposite reaction. But of course, that is the law of motion he's talking about. We are talking about karma here. Every action will have some result. No action goes without result. Action will stop giving result only on one condition, when you have actually got the Atma Jnana. When you have become a Jnani, then the whole game changes. Okay. So the one, because action is happening and the result is happening, these two needs to be connected. So the one who connects these two is Ishvara, the Lord, Bhavana. He provides the connection because he is witnessing your action as a Sakshi Chaitanya. And he is also as Ishvara with Maya Upadhi, the law of karma giver, the ordainer of the law of karma. So he makes the connection between the two and gives the results. Okay. So one who is in the form of the connection between karma and the phala, and who makes this connection is Ishvara. So as I said, he is the karma phala dhata. And Adi Shankara quotes a sutra from Brahma Sutra to support his interpretation. And we see this in the Puranas also, Purana stories, Devotees pray to the Lord to save them from distress or from asuras, rakshasas. And the Lord answers their prayers by taking some avatara at the right time. So as the giver of the results for those prayers at the right time and right place, he is called Bhavana. So Sambhava and Bhavana are connected together. So we should understand them together. Okay. So this is Bhavana. Then next one is Bharta. Bharta literally means the protector, sustainer. In fact, in Malayalam, Sanskrit, Bharta also means a husband. Okay. So here we'll take the meaning, Adi Shankara takes the meaning, sustainer of the universe, who sustains the family, in fact, and universe is his family, Ishvara's family, so he sustains. Prapanchasya adhishthanatvena bharanat bharta, he says, Adi Shankara says. The one who sustains the universe is Bharta. He establishes dharma, sustains dharma in the form of the order, what we are talking about, right? In the form of the order that exists, what is right and wrong, how things should function smoothly, positively for the entire universe to work, become functional rather. That's what the order, the order makes it do, rather makes the whole cosmos functional for the benefit of all the entities there. So the Lord is Dharmasya Bharta, can say. He is the Bharta, he is the sustainer of Dharma. And whenever there is a disturbance or some, in that order, some imbalance develops. Dharma is suppressed by false beliefs and, adharmic practices. And this happens by misguided leadership only. Somebody has to lead all these things, like it happened in Mahabharata. Misguided leadership of Shakuni led to all this problem. Without Shakuni, probably Duryodhana would not have been so adharmic. But he put the idea into Duryodhana's mind that you can do all these things. Made him greedy. So, Ishvara restores the balance. That is how he is a sustainer. And this theme occurs again and again and again in every, even in Bhagavad Gita, he says the same thing, which we have seen already, right? So he interferes and establishes the dharma again, and he saves all the devotees. all dharmic people, and that is why he is called Bharta. Okay. And not only that, he sustains the entire prapancha as the Adhisthana, as the Atma, as a Chaitanya Swarupena. He is the basis on which the entire universe is actually sustained. Foundation, consciousness, pure consciousness, on which the whole cosmos is sustained. So by that meaning also he is Bharta, sustainer. Okay. He gives existence and consciousness. Sat and Chit, he gives length to the universe. So that is why he is Bharta. The next nama is Prabhavaha. Prabhavaha means he is the source of all elements. Prakarshena Mahabhutani Asmat Prabhavanti Jayanta iti Prabhavaha. Prakrishtaha Bhavaha Janma Asyeti Va. So two meanings Adi Shankara gives. Okay. See, because he is Prabhavaha, because from him only all the five elements, the Mahabhutas have come. Starting from Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha and Prithvi, all five elements have come from Ishvara only rather. And the whole Jagat is born out of these Panchabhutas, which have origin in him. So, Ishvara directly is the creator of the Panchabhutas, and through the Panchabhutas, he is the creator of the entire universe. And as we see, we have just seen, he is the sustainer of Dharma. In the previous Nama we saw. And it is, this Dharma is meant for what? For the welfare of all the beings in this universe, especially human beings. Because animals have got their own fixed dharmas. They cannot go away from their dharma because they don't have a free will. Fortunately or unfortunately, human beings have been endowed with a free will. And the free will needs to be used to understand the dharma and do everything according to what the dharma dictates. But what happens? Human beings, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all these things interfere in this exercise of this free will, and then is tempted to do, or in fact not by tempted, he does adharmic activities, shortcuts in life. Right? And when that happens, there could be a serious damage to the entire environment, which is the property of Ishvara. Because adharmic activities, they lead to destruction of dharma. And when dharma is disturbed, the order is disturbed. So even animals, plants and all, which have got fixed dharma, because of the human interference, they can be destroyed. And that is what we are seeing now. All this talk about environment protection and all is what? It's all a result of what we have been doing the past so many, maybe, tens and scores of years. Completely destroying Ishvara's order, Ishvara's creation. For what? For our own selfish benefit. Thinking that it is for selfish benefit. Now we are saying, all this, climate warming, what is that called? So many seminars are held for
global warming.
Global warming. Huh? So carbon footprint, all those things they are talking now. And even when they hold the seminars, they are actually increasing the carbon footprint and they contributing to global warming. That is what they do. They will all fly from various countries in their aeroplanes, and that itself is emitting so much of, gases, that it increases the global warming. Air conditioned places, they will have the meetings. So humankind has become totally hypocritical. When a wild animal, its dharma is to kill and eat. That is the only way it will find food for itself. Nobody is going to go to the jungle and hold a party for all wild animals, giving them different food and all that, I mean, this, what is some meat items and all. Nobody is going to do that. So they have to hunt and kill. And they don't differentiate between man and another, lamb or anything. Whoever comes, they kill for their food. So you, with your all free will, you enter into a jungle and do some funny thing, or want to do some funny thing there. And you are attacked by a tiger or a leopard or a lion. You have entered its territory and it attacks you for its food, which is its dharma. What you do in return? You try to destroy that, you try to shoot that animal, you try to kill that animal. That is how we keep on destroying this entire universe without any care, without any botheration. So this is how the entire dharma is getting disturbed by this free will of these human beings, right? Ultimately, it will lead to the destruction of the human beings itself, that we don't realize that. That's a tragedy. But the free will can be used to sustain the order of Ishvara, to sustain the environment by doing everything properly in accordance with the order of Ishvara. So this dharma is born of Parameshwara by Ishvara. And even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhuteshu dharma aviruddha kamaha asmi. I am in all beings the desire that is not opposed to dharma. So what is dharma is nothing but Ishvara only. The more dharmic activities we do, we are very near Ishvara. So that is why we must, whenever we do anything, we must do it with lot of awareness, lot of thought. It should not be, a reactive kind of a thing. In fact, we sometimes react because we don't even think. Some of the things we take it as they are our enemies, rather. Cockroaches, mosquitoes and all. We take them as our enemies. And the moment we see any of them, we just start to kill them. Do we have a right to do that? We should think about all these things. And this power of this desire, that is the Lord. The freedom to desire is Ichcha Shakti of Maya. And the Lord is manifest in the form of this desire in the individual. And if the individual goes against the dharma in fulfilling his desires, then it is not the Lord, but the individual who is doing it, because using his free will. So that's why I said, whenever we do anything in the dharmic way, the Lord is with us. So we can see a lot of examples are there, right? So what the basic thing is, dharmasya prabhavaha. He is the one who is sustaining, who is the creator of all the Panchabhutas, and through them the entire universe. And because of that, we have also seen that he is prabhavaha, sustainer of this Bhavana, sustainer of this universe. So this is one meaning. Dharmasya prabhava, the source of dharma. Okay. Then prakrishto bhavaha janma asya iti prabhavaha. That is another meaning Adi Shankara says. His taking a birth, what we call avatara, is special and exalted because while doing so, he does not lose the knowledge about his Swarupa, his Sachidananda Swarupa, and he is untainted by the karmas that he does. So in any avatara, we can see Krishna avatara, Rama avatara, and all that. He has taken the Janma or avatara for a particular purpose. And if they have killed so many Rakshasas and all that, if we do that, we will have Papa. We are not supposed to do Ahimsa. No, we are supposed to follow Ahimsa. But for Ishvara, it is exempt because he is doing it for sustaining the Dharma. Like Krishna killed that Asura Madhu. And I think one of the namas will come. Madhu. Right? So this is the meaning of Prabhavaha. Next one is Prabhu. Prabhu normally means one who is a Lord, right? One who has unsurpassed skill is what Adi Shankara says. Sarvasu kriyasu samartya atishayanat Prabhu. A beautiful meaning he takes. Prabhu generally we can say is a Lord, right? But here he brings a different shade of meaning. Samartya Atishayanat, highly skilled, unsurpassed skill, Atishayanat, right? So the one who has got unsurpassed skill in anything that he does is called a Prabhu. And Ishvara is that Prabhu. He is Samartya, the capacity to create, sustain, and resolve this entire Jagat. He can do that. Only Ishvara can do that. And he does not require anybody's help for doing that also. Right? And there is excellence in this capacity to create, sustain, and then resolve. There is nothing that Ishvara cannot do. He is maximum highly skilled. So that is why he is called Prabhu. The next one is Ishvara. So again, same idea, one with unlimited lordship. Because Prabhu has come, then followed by Ishvara. So Adi Shankara is very careful. He does not want to say the same thing, same meaning. So he takes a meaning for Prabhu, which is very apt for describing Prabhu. And the next one is Ishvara. So immediately he says, Nirupadikam Aishwaryam Asya Iti Ishvara. So here he says he is Parameshwara. Aishwarya is actually a Tadita word for those who know Sanskrit. Ishwarasya Bhava hai Aishwaryam. Right? Lordship. And it is the nature of Aishwaryam is the nature of Ishvara. Okay. And there are two types of Aishwarya. One is Aishwarya because of the Upadhi, because of the form, there is an Aishwarya. Then there is an Aishwarya without the form, Nirupadhikam, which is the consciousness, existence consciousness, limitlessness. That is also an Aishwaryam only, lordship only, overlordship only, pervading everything in this universe is overlordship only. So Aishwaryam can be looked at from two angles. One is Sopadika Aishwaryam, which is what we saw. We have all these gods, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahmaji, Saraswati, Lakshmi, all have got Aishwaryam. They are all Ishvara, but Sopadika Ishvara, they have a form and a name also. Upadhi Sahita. Whereas here, Ishvara, Adi Shankara takes Nirupadika Aishwaryam, purely Vedantic interpretation. Advaita interpretation, Nirupadika Aishwaryam. Okay. And that is what Sarvajnatva, Sarva Shaktimatva, Sarva Nyapakatva, Sarva Vyapakatva, all those are all the nature of Satchidananda Swarupa. Being all knowing, almighty, all pervasive, and etc. And that is taking on the Maya Upadhi. He becomes the Sopadika Aishwarya. Whereas without Maya Upadhi, he is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So he is Nirupadika Aishwarya. So when we are talking about Ishvara, we can relate to both these. Sopadika Ishvara, Nirupadika Ishvara. Nirupadika, we don't call him Ishvara. Nirupadika, we call it Brahman. That's a name difference, that's all. Because Nirupadikam, there is no name. That which does not have name and form is Nirupadikam. So then you cannot give a name, but then Shastras call it Brahman. Brahman means the big one. That's all. So anyhow, so he is the Lord of all the lords, including Brahmaji, Indra, all those, Agni Devata, Vayu Devata, all Devatas is the Lord rather. And who gain that Upadhi and that power, respective power, because of their own previous karmas. Because all these Devatas who are there, that's not a permanent position. That is a position which they have occupied because of their karmas. If we do appropriate karmas, we can also become Agni Devata, and they're all Jivas only there. All these Devatas are Jivas. At the end of the term, whenever it is at the end of Kalpa, in the next round of creation, somebody else will be the Agni Devata, somebody else will be the Vayu Devata. So they are positions, right? But Lord Vishnu, who is the Nirupadika Aishwarya, who has got the Nirupadika Aishwarya, he is the Karma Phala Data. He does not need a Upadhi at all. He does not need any power because power comes from him only rather. Therefore, he is the Lord who presides over everything without any Upadhi. He stands in his own glory. And that is his Aishwarya, Lordship. It is not subject to any limitation. He is limitless. And that's why Upanishads like Mandukya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, they all talk of him as Esha Sarveshaha, Esha Sarveshwaraha, right? And which is what Adi Shankara quotes in this, in explaining this. So he is Sambhava, takes form out of his own free will. He is, because he is Bhavana, the giver of Karma Phala. He is Bharta, the sustainer, and he is Prabhava, the source of everything that needs sustenance, needed for sustenance. So the names Prabhu and Ishvara show that he has the capacity to sustain without depending on anything else. He is the overlord, ultimate Lord rather. So this is the complete meaning of this sloka which we have seen. Sarva Sharva Shivasthano Sambhavo Bhavano Bharta Prabhava Prabhurishwara. Now we will go to the next sloka. So as usual, I will chant, give a pause after the first quarter. Then anybody wants to repeat, you can repeat, but at least one person repeat so that I know that you have chanted it. Okay. Swayambhu Sambhuraditya Swayambhuraditya Swayambhuh Shambhuradityah
Swayambhu Sambhuradityah
Pushkaraksho Mahaswanah
Pushkaraksho
Pushkaraksho Mahaswana
Mahaswana
Adinidano Dhata
Anadi Nidhano
Anodhata
Dhata
Vidhata Dhaturuttamah.
Nidhata.
Vidhata Dhaturuttamaha.
So this shloka has got 9 namas. Swayambhuhu, Shambhuhu, Adityah, Pushkaraksha, Mahaswanah, Anadhinidanah, Dhata, Vidhata, Dhaturuttamah. So these are the 9 namas which are there in this shloka. Okay. So let us see one by one. Swayambhuhu. Swayambhuhu simply means self-existence. Self-existent. Right. And Adi Shankara says, Swayameva bhavati iti swayambhuhu. Very simple. Swayameva bhavati. Doesn't require anybody to create because he is not created at all. He is there. He is the creator. Then he gives an alternative meaning. Athava Swayambhuhu Parameshwarah Swayameva Swatantro Bhavati Na Paratantraha Sarvesham Upari Bhavati Iti Va Swayambhuhu. Swayambhuhu. So, all slight change in meanings, but 3 meanings he gives. Swayameva Bhavati Iti Swayambhuhu. The one who is self-exist. Bhava means to be, to exist. The one who is self-existent, not created by anyone. Anadi, beginningless, is Ishvara, Parameshwara. Everything else in this cosmos is created. If you take this shirt, the Atma, the nature, the content of the shirt is what? The content of the shirt does not depend upon the shirt. The shirt depends upon the content of the shirt. For example, fiber is the content of the shirt. Fiber does not depend upon its existence on the shirt, whereas the shirt depends upon the fiber for its existence. So that which is independent, which is doesn't depend upon anything else for its existence is Swayambhuhu. But then the fabric or fiber is also not independent. That is again depending upon some cotton. Like that, you can go on go back and back and back. So whenever there is a dependence, there is no independence. Swatantrata is not there. Dependence is called paratantrata. So these are all, everything is paratantram. Even when you see analyze the whole cosmos, everything is paratantram. Only Ishvara, Parameshwara is Swatantra. Doesn't depend upon anybody for its existence. Knowledge also is Paratantram. Knowledge depends upon consciousness. If there is no consciousness, you cannot have knowledge, right? So thus we find that everything is Paratantra, dependent on something else for its existence. The only thing which is Satyam is Chaitanyam, consciousness, which is Swayameva Bhavati. It has been there, it will be there, it is there, and it will be there always. The whole world may resolve, the whole cosmos may resolve, go from manifest form to unmanifest form. Consciousness will remain on its own. So as Satyam Jnanam, as the Atma of everything, Parameshwara is Swayambhu. Because he is the Atma, he is the inherer, the one who pervades everything, who is the indweller of everything as consciousness. So he himself has become everything, manifests as everything, because he has created everything out of his own self, which we have seen this idea earlier also. Then Sarvesham Upari Bhavati Iti Va Swayambhuhu. Another meaning he says he exists about everything. Sarvesham Upari Bhavati. Exists above everything else. There is none above him. He is the ultimate. And for this, Adi Shankara quotes one mantra from Ishavasya Upanishad. Paribhuhu Swayambhuhu. This mantra occurs in Ishavasya Upanishad. To support that, he is above everything else. He exists as everything and above everything. Then he says, Athava Swayambhuhu Parameshwaraha Swayameva Swatantro Bhavati Na Paratantra. This idea we have already seen. As Parameshwara, he is Swatantra, totally not independent, not dependent on anything else. Even the Maya is not created, it is Anadi along with Parameshwara. But Paratantra being dependent on Brahman. So Maya is not Swatantra. Even though it is beginningless. Nobody knows who created Maya. But for its existence, Maya depends upon Brahman. So even Maya is Paratantra only. Only Swatantra is Brahman, Parameshwara alone. This is the meaning of Swayambhuhu. Then Shambhuhu. Beautiful word. Shambhuhu means the giver of happiness. Happiness. Sham Sukham Bhaktanam Mangalam Moksham Bhavayati iti Shambhuhu says. So Shambhuhu is one who causes Sham. What is Sham? Sham is Sukham, Karma Phala to devotees, who gives all pleasant experiences to his devotees. Of course, the real Sukha, the real Ananda is Moksha, the ultimate end. But even before we reach that, the devotees experience an Ananda in their devotion, and that Ananda is given to them by Shambhuhu, by Parameshwara, by Vishnu, by Ishvara. That is why he is called Shambhuhu, right? By knowing the Lord, by gaining the knowledge of the Lord, and by the grace of the Lord alone, one gains Sham. Sham also means auspiciousness. Everything good that you that happens in your life. You desire something and you don't know, just it's a desire comes into your mind out of blue. But after some time, it happens and you are surprised. Just think about it, it happens. Who makes it happen? Not you. The circumstances come together for your desire to happen. And when you are very near to Ishvara, you are able to communicate with Ishvara. You know, whatever your thoughts occur in your mind, they are actually related to Ishvara, to the totality. And totality is consciousness understands, gets the knowledge of your desire. Then you will be a preferred customer for the totality. It will make it happen. That is why noble people should never ever have any wrong desires in their mind. Best thing is to avoid all desires. Because without desires also your life is fine. You are nearer Ishvara, nearest to Ishvara, you are actually enjoying the life with Ishvara. What desire, whatever you you want to get or you deserve, you will get it. Ishvara is there, karma phala data. Yes, he knows your whole horoscope better than any of these astrologers. He is maintaining a pakka record, not only of the previous janma, but all the previous janmas, hundreds of crores of janmas you might have taken. He has got the record. So he will give you whatever you deserve in this janma. Why you have any desire at all? By merely desiring, it is not going to change anything. In fact, you can look at it another way. The very desire comes into your mind because Ishvara puts into that. Whereas what is mind? Consciousness. Consciousness is Ishvara. So you can look at it either way. It is all Ishvara, Ishvara alone, everywhere, Sarva Vyapi. Okay. So by the grace of this Lord alone, one actually gains sham or happiness. And it is a grace of Ishvara which also helps us to know Ishvara. If you are all sitting now and listening to the 1,000 names of Ishvara, it is Ishvara's grace which has been showered on you. Because of that, you are sitting and knowing Ishvara. Otherwise, you will be seeing some cinema theater or some movie. Now that Corona 50% is, all states are allowing. People are waiting to go to cinema theater as if, it is they will get salvation, so-called salvation, moksha, by going to film theaters and seeing all those movies. Anyhow. So, here Puja Swamiji actually discusses another topic of Nyaya Shastra. He says there are two Nyayas, Markata Nyaya and Marjaraka Nyaya. To explain this relationship with Ishvara, he quotes these two Nyayas. Markata Nyaya, according to the first, that Markata Nyaya, one naturally holds on to the Lord like a baby monkey holds on to the mother monkey. Markata means monkey. The mother will be jumping from one tree to another tree and it needs to use its all four limbs to do that. So the baby will be safe only if it is able to hold on to the mother. Because mother cannot hold the baby and jump also. This is called Markata Nyaya. And the safety of the baby is ensured by it holding the mother. Similarly, our safety, our happiness will depend upon how strongly we hold on to Ishvara. So this is one aspect of the Nyaya, right? But even to hold on to Ishvara, we require his grace. Without his grace, we can't hold on to Ishvara also. So it becomes a catch-22 situation. Therefore, Puja Swamiji says, understand it by Marjaraka Nyaya. What is Marjaraka Nyaya? Marjara means a cat. A mother cat takes its kitten in the mouth and then goes around, isn't it? We have seen cat or lion, all these animals, they hold the born baby. In fact, cat, wherever they give birth, they will immediately shift those babies to another safe place from the place of birth. Because they are very conscious that something will come and eat up the baby. Some other animals will come, dog or something, even snakes. So they will, that is there instinctively, they will shift the babies. And when they do that, they will hold the baby in the mouth and then move them around. Okay, this is Marjaraka Nyaya. So what happens? Lord uses Marjaraka Nyaya to hold on to us, and we should use Markata Nyaya to hold on to the Lord. Now this way both the things will work. His grace will shower on us, and using that grace, we will actually get we will hold the Lord more and more tightly. And that is how our relationship, which is the fundamental relationship, which I explained in yesterday's Bhagavad Gita class, the fundamental relationship every being has got is only with the Lord. All other relationships that we have, right from relationship with parents, friends, relatives, everything is temporary, maximum lasting for this life. If we have another life, and that too a life of a human being, our parents will be different, our friends will be different, our relatives will be different. Even they will not have the same kind of a body, mind, sense complex which we are now experiencing. But in all the janmas, Ishvara will be our permanent relationship. So it makes sense to hold on to that Ishvara tightly, so that janma after janma after janma, His grace keeps on coming to us. And because of that, we are able to progress in our journey, in our spiritual journey. This is something that we need to understand very, very carefully and very well understand. Nothing else, no amount of money, wealth, bangla, car, no amount of relationship with the Laukika relationship is going to give you moksha, the ultimate end. Only the strongest relationship with Ishvara, with Paramatma, is going to give you moksha. That all spiritual seekers should understand very well. And that is why maintain good relationship with everybody. That does not mean that you have to make an enemy of everybody. But your ichcha, desires, reduce them. Only have those desires, minimum desires which are required for sustenance of this body. That's all. All other desires are of all irrelevant. They have no use. Similarly, relationships also. All this mamakara, ahankara, one said mamakara, the mine. That's what Krishna teaches Arjuna. That you are saying mine, and all that, seeing all these people. Get rid of that mind. Then only you will be able to act objectively in a situation like war. In every situation that we face in our life, objectivity is required for getting the correct result. And the more objective you become, the more nearer to Ishvara you go. Because Ishvara is totally objective. Even as a karma phala dhata, he is totally objective only. He will not do any favoritism. No subjective element involved in karma phalam, giving the fruits of karma phalam. Okay. So like that, Puja Swamiji very nicely explains both these nyayas, Markata Nyaya and Marjaraka Nyaya, to actually explain and to make us understand what kind of relationship we need to develop with Ishvara. And we need to totally surrender to Ishvara. Surrender to Ishvara means what? Completely dilute your own ego. Ahamkara, completely dilute. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja, says Krishna in the 18th chapter. If you, Arjuna, if you cannot follow any of the things that I have told you in all these so-called 600 and odd verses, still don't worry. Just completely give up your ego and you surrender to me. Me means what? Krishna talks as Brahman, consciousness, Ishvara. Either you can take it Sopadika Ishvara, Nirupadika Ishvara, doesn't matter. Surrender to the total power, the cosmic power. Surrender yourself. It will take care of you. Sarva papebhya mokshayishyami ma shucha, without doubt will be taken care of. So that's what he says, right? So this Markata Nyaya, Marjaraka Nyaya both go together, rather they are not independent with each other. So when we should try to hold on to Ishvara and implore the God for his grace, so that he will hold on to us. He will pick up with his mouth and carry around everywhere, right? This is like just like, confluence of a river. It is difficult to say whether the river reaches the ocean or the ocean reaches out to the river, isn't it? When the river joins the ocean, there will be ocean water and river water both together. Okay. In fact, both reach out to each other. So we as devotees, we reach out to the Lord, and then he bestows his grace on us by reaching out to us. And as I said, by his grace only, we come to know even the Lord also. Hence, he is called Shambhu. Shambhu. And by that knowledge, one becomes one with the Lord, not separated anymore from the Lord. And Swami Paramathananda says that Bhagavan's grace cannot be got by just praying alone, but has to be gained by doing appropriate karmas. He calls it GEKs. Swami Paramathananda is very popular for his coming up with these abbreviations. Grace earning karmas is called GEKs. Okay. Which are what? Pancha Mahayajnas, Deva Yajna, Pitri Yajna, worship of Devatas, worship of Pitris, our main ancestors. Bhuta Yajna, worship of all living and non-living beings. Manushya Yajna, worship of fellow humans, and Brahma Yajna, worship of knowledge contained in the Vedas, and also Rishis, who are the giver of the Vedas, right? Who are the seers of the Vedas, not giver, seers of the Vedas, who are the receivers of the Veda from Ishvara and giving it to humanity. So this tapped grace by through prayers will take some time. By doing all these karmas, it will take some time to become operational, and which he calls his gestation period, right? Paripaka kalaha, he says. Therefore, the grace or anugraham requires two conditions. It should be an earned grace and it should be a ripened grace. Both are required. In grace, you have to do everything. The GEKs, grace earning karmas to earn the grace. But that does not mean you do a karma today and tomorrow you will get the grace. It doesn't mean that. That grace has to take its own time, gestation period, then it will become a matured grace, a ripened grace, and then it will shower on you. And it is this type of grace which gives Shambhu. And therefore, he is Shambhu, the giver of all happiness, all wellness, everything auspicious in our life. Okay. So I think it's almost time. I will stop here and go to the next Nama in the next class. I will say the prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Hari Om Guruji.
Raghuji, I have a question, Raghuji.
Thank you and Hari Om Guruji.
Yes,
Thanks,
Namaste,
Guruji.
Guruji. Namaste.
Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji.
Namaste.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
May I ask my
Thank
question,
you very much,
Raghuji?
Guruji.
Yeah,
Thank
1
you.
minute, Padmaji. Let everybody
Okay.
say thank you, and then those who want to leave can leave.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
1
Guruji.
minute. Just please wait, please.
Oh, sure.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you, Hario. Okay, Padmaji. Now you ask your question.
You mentioned it's better or it's the only thing to give up all the desires.
Mm.
I have a question about that. When you said give up desires, are you talking about the binding desires, just give up, or desires period, or desires can be there, but we should not be swayed. We should be able to manage. Does that what you are, I mean, do I understand that way?
Correctly, because I didn't explain it in this, because so many times I have explained this in other classes in Tattva Bodha also and earlier also.
Yes.
See, whenever we talk of desire, we talk of only binding desires.
Okay.
That is what is need to be given up, rather. Because,
Yes. Okay.
because when the desires fail to materialize, we should not get emotionally disturbed about that. And that will happen if the desires become binding desires.
Binding.
And
yes.
we have seen that in many cases, we experience it when two people, they are in so-called love with each other, romantic relationship. It becomes binding. I cannot live without you. Hey, you were not born without that person. Why you can't live without that person? This is all, emotional trappings we get into. That kind of desires we should give up.
Yes.
General desires one can have. One can have any desire as long as you are able to, take the consequences of that. In the sense, if the desire is not fulfilled, okay, no problem. That is why law of karma helps us, Maybe I desire, I didn't get it. Maybe I have certain karmas which are, which acted as obstacles for my getting it. It's okay. Ishvara must be having some better plan for me. This belief, if you lead your life with this belief, all these faltu, this what I call it, useless, purposeless desires will automatically fall away from your life. You don't need to work for it deliberately. So you are right. Your understanding is perfectly okay.
Okay. I know it's a reiteration. I know we talk about a lot of things. When it comes, it's better to get clear. The more you...
Any doubt, any time you can, because sometimes I feel that if I repeat it again and again, it will become very repetitive and boring. So I try to, I've already talked about it, so it occurs in my mind. We already talked about it, so people will understand.
Okay.
But if there is a doubt, please raise it. I will clarify it again.
Yes.
No problem.
See, I'm so used to the repetition. It doesn't, because Puja Swamiji, when we go to his classes, we see he repeats over and over again. So
Yeah, exactly. That is why he repeats it over and over and again. Absolutely.
And it for the reiteration. Yes. Okay. Dhanyavada, Raghuji. Dhanyavada.
Great. Any other question? Nothing else. Lataji, you are here in the class. I thought you were traveling, or you had sent me a message that you may be missing the class.
No, Guruji, I had the guests staying with me for the weekend.
Okay.
They left in the afternoon before the class was to begin, so I was
okay.
joined the class today.
That's okay. Good.
Feel good.
Good.
But I missed yesterday's Bhagavad Gita class, but then I listened to the...
Yeah. I have now I'm going to post this talks same day. So that, I also forget later on, then when I try to postpone anything, it goes out of my mind. So then I decided that now from now onwards, I will post it very same day, same night. I will finish it and then only move on with any other thing. So you will get it tonight, this lecture. Bhagavad Gita yesterday, I have circulated the link. You can watch that. And sometimes, people are not able to attend, but then they can have the opportunity to see it as early as possible. If I do that. No problem.
Thank you very much, Guruji. It was a lovely class.
So shall we close the session? Are there any more questions, comments are there? Otherwise, namaste. See you all next Sunday. You.
Thank you.
And those of you in Sanskrit on Wednesday, Gita class on Saturday. Let me add that. You. Thank you.
This Markata Nyaya and
Arjanaka Nyaya.
Acharya was very, very beautiful. I heard it for the first time. I had the combination I heard for the first time.
Puja Swamiji, Puja Swamiji is a great teacher. We have all learned from him. So this is how we have to understand. See, this Nyaya Shastra gives all these kind of examples for us to understand certain concepts which are otherwise difficult to. In our thinking is always, what we call it. What they call it, this or that kind of a thing, right? What is binary thinking, right? So we think that it is either Ishvara holds on to us, His grace showers on us, or we actually pray to Ishvara. We don't connect the two. And these two nyayas actually help us to understand the connection between the two.
I think margara nyaya, that is Ishvara holding on to us is there by default, and it is just we
No,
have
exactly, because see, when you go to some, it is like a magnet and the iron filings, right? Now, when you bring a magnet near the iron filing, how will you know whether the iron filings are going and sticking to the magnet, or magnet is attracting the iron filing to stick to it? You can't know that, right? In fact, we can experience that very, very physically, rather when we bring a magnet very near to, it would not even touch the iron filings. There will be a small gap, but all the iron filings will jump and stick to the magnet. Similarly, is this we have to understand. Ishvara is the magnet. We are all iron filings. When we try to go near Ishvara, Ishvara takes one step. Both come together at a stage where even though there may be apparent gap, it will become one. So that is how the whole process has to be understood.
very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you very
Hari Om.
much.
Namaste to everybody.